guys. Happy Monday. We'll be kicking off. Hello, everybody, and happy Monday to you. For everybody that's in the U.S., happy Labor Day. I hope everybody's had a wonderful, joyous holiday weekend. Since I am also in the States, I get to enjoy this holiday weekend. I was talking to some friends of mine that were back in Ireland, and I was just saying, yeah, I was off today, being lazy, and I forget that they don't have that same holiday today, so it was just another Monday for them. But I was happy to have today to rest up. This was kind of a unplanned show here in Fireside this evening, but I got two requests to do this, and I've got some people who are listening also on YouTube. So I want to welcome everybody that's listening in on YouTube, and also on Twitch, and then also to have you guys here, Woody, Deanna. Tell me if I pronounce this wrong, but Calvary, and you'll have to correct me in a bit if I'm probably getting that wrong. I'm sure, but glad to have you here. I did this show over the weekend on a different platform, and I was talking about our energy, and I was talking about the aspect of right now, what's happening. What is Mercury in retrograde? And we hear this a lot. We hear it in different aspects, especially if you're very much into astrology and so forth. There's a big focus on Mercury in retrograde. But when you look back, and if you just really take notice of what this time period is, if you pay attention to things that go on, for example, in your life, different events, different circumstances, you'll find how these moments, when the planets are doing different things, when the moon is doing different things, well, it has an impact on our life. It has an impact on different things that we experience. And for example, Mercury in retrograde, well, Mercury controls a lot of different things. It's a communication aspect. It controls, communication, planning, how we listen, if we're researching things and all of that. Well, sometimes it can get kind of muddy right now. Sometimes communication gets muddy. We might have, this is that time period right now where we might get in a rush and plans fall through. Things just don't work out the way they should. We get frustrated. There's a lot of times of just being overwhelmed. And what we need to take notice of, though, this is that time period that we need to slow down. We need to take pause for a sec. We need to take notice of what is actually going on in our life. Like, what are we doing, and does it make sense? Now, let me jump to something else really quick, and we're going to come back to this point. Everybody thinks, that Mercury in retrograde, it means that Mercury starts moving in reverse, moving backwards or something. Okay, Mercury doesn't do that. What it does, let's compare it to this. You're speeding, you're going down the highway, right? And a car passes you, right? Well, if that car slows down and then you pass that car, well, it kind of looks like that car's going backwards, doesn't it? Well, it's the same concept. That's exactly what's happening. But because Mercury is so close to the sun, its orbit is faster, right? It goes around the sun faster than we do. So this is that time period where it's kind of like us passing each other on the highway. But what we need to take notice of is this. This is that moment, though, where this does cause a shift. The universe and all the things that operate, how the planets work, how the moon operates, how the sun operates, what our orbit does, okay? It affects our life. It can affect our energy. It can affect our emotions. It affects all of these different things. And if we don't take notice of that, then it can cause us to continue to live in this space of just being confused, or, you know, where we're not, where our plans aren't coming to fruition. We're not keeping ourselves in line with what is going to be healthy for us. See? So it's just kind of important that we really understand this time frame. And even if if you're not like a big astrology person, that's okay. You're still a person that lives in the same universe that we all do, right? So we're all going to be affected. We're all going to be affected by these things. And this is that time period when you'll hear people say, don't make important decisions. Don't sign contracts. Don't start that big project right at this moment. And people say that because this is that moment, that we want to slow down. It's hard sometimes in a retrograde period. It's hard to get, decisions from other people sometimes. Even if a decision is made, it'd be subject to change. And it's one of those things that we need to not let ourselves get pulled away, carried away. You know, this would not be a good time to do anything involving heavy or deep communications. Why? Because a lot of times, and most times, most people I know, we're speeding along. We're racing along. We're rushing through everything. We don't take time. We don't take pause. We don't stand still for just a second to pay attention to us. Pay attention to you. There's other people that spend so much time paying attention to everybody else. Well, what's everybody else think? Well, what do you think? What do you think? What are you doing? We get focused on what everybody else is doing, right? We don't want to constantly never give ourselves that breathing space, that time to find our center, that time to find our grounding place. See, if we don't do that, that's what emphasizes our confusions. That's what emphasizes our frustration. That's what emphasizes when we start feeling, if we're already dealing with depression, well, if you're not taking time to just pause, slow down for a minute, take focus for a second, well, guess what? That depression's probably going to get a little bit worse. If we're in a relationship, and that relationship, we're just not happy in it, a lot of times, sometimes it's from just simple communication breakdowns, because we rush past things, and then things get missed, and then later on we're trying to revamp or recamp what maybe happened 6 months ago, and you can't do it that way, because things start layering up, and now you've developed that routine of what? Poor communication. But what's worse is you developed a routine of you stopped paying attention to you. You're racing along to keep everything afloat. Let's face it, life's hard, right? We got to work. We got to pay bills. We have to eat. We have to take time we have other people in our lives. We have to take time to do things. We have to, sometimes do all those other obligations with other people, or just obligations with family, or whatever the case may be. But are you taking time for just you? This is that time to do that. This month. If you're into astrology, well, guess what? Mercury in retrograde starts on September 9th. And you know what September 10th? A full moon. You know what that full moon does? That's your moment. I want you to think about that full moon as your day. Take next weekend and let that weekend be your weekend to focus on blowing out, releasing, all of that negative energy on the 9th, and then on the 10th, take that full moon energy and elevate yourself. Elevate. The moon, the full moon, the cycles, all these things. Well, we all cycle, don't we? Every day is a cycle. Every week is its cycle. Every month is its cycle. And the moon has its cycle. But the effect of these things has an energy point to it. Now, I was raised in all of this. So for me, it carries much deeper paths and meanings for me. But even if you don't believe in all this stuff, you can you feel the effects. You're going to have the effects of what this universe does because you live in this universe. We are all creatures of energy. We all possess energy, be it positive, negative, whatever. We all have energy. And when we learn to respect that energy and understand that energy, then we start to understand, what am I receiving and what am I presenting? What am I putting out there and what am I taking in? Mercury in retrograde is, for people that are into astrology, this is our reminder that it's time to slow down. It's time to not be hasty. It's time to not rush into something. It's time to not be just careless. This is your time to slow down, take a deep breath, and focus. Where am I right now, today? Where am I in my life? Are there things that I need to let go of? Are there new things that I'm wanting to embrace? And it's good to get a capture point for that. You see? Thank you for that, love. But the other point I want you to think about is this. First off, we only get this, like, you know, we only get this very few times, a year that we're going to have aspects like this, right? And here's the thing. This is also September. We got 3 months after this, so we're like 4 months away from the end of the year. Well, this is a great time right now. Treat September as like your pause point. This is you get to go to the sideline for a minute. You get to go to the sideline for a sec. Get a sip of water. Go get a snack. Sit down. Now, how are you going to end 2022? What are you going to wrap up before the end of the year? And you have 4 months now to do it. But what are you going to do with that 4 months? Are you meeting your goals? Are you living within your passion? Are you living within your happy, or are you so caught up with all of the stuff that we just have to do all the time, every day, for everybody else, that you've lost sight of what are you doing for you? Don't race, don't rush, don't push. Don't ignore what you feel. Don't ignore what you think. If you're having a hard time communicating your feelings, then that means that you need to stop trying to say anything at that moment and take a breath. Refocus. Get your brain centered back on you, your heart, your soul, your spirit. Feel your own energy about something. I can't remember where I saw it, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, but it was good. But when you get that gut feeling about something, that is every cell in your body telling you that you better wake up and take notice. That gut feeling, that intuition. Do you listen to it, or do you ignore it? And sometimes we get wrapped, though. We get so wrapped up in our friends' lives and our relationship lives and our family lives and our work people and all these things. We get so wrapped with everything else and everybody else and what everybody else thinks that it starts to get muddy in our own head whenever we're trying to actually facilitate what do I think? What do I feel? What do you feel? This is that moment. Mercury in retrograde. That time when it seems like Mercury is actually reversing. No, it's Mercury reminding you slow down. Relax a minute. Breathe it out. Let go of the toxic. Let go of the bad connections. Let go, close the door on things that need to be just removed from your life. Stop dragging the nasty past with you. Let it go. Let it go. We have to let ourselves and give ourselves permission sometimes to get into that phase, don't we? You have to give yourself permission to, hey, it's okay to not answer that one text right now. It's okay to just turn everything off for a second. Maybe put on that quiet music that you like and just sit down for a second. Become self aware. Become self focused. That doesn't make you selfish, that makes you healthy. Everybody else can wait because everybody else is doing them. So you do you. This is that time to do that. Take some time to write down, even. If you write in a journal, if you have a diary, if you just have a notebook, write down. Write yourself a letter. You'll be surprised of what comes out of you if you let yourself actually sit there and get quiet and just write. What would you say to yourself right now if you allowed yourself to get completely still, completely quiet, to answer some of those questions? Am I happy? Have I found my passion, or am I still working my goals to get there? Am I connected to all of the right people? Or do I have a few that are dragging me down? Do you have toxic situations in your life? Write it down. And when you do, and you let yourself just start to just relax and free flow, I tell you something. You go back and read that letter back to yourself after you've slept tonight. Read it tomorrow. Read it over coffee. You, my friend, will be enlightened. Because it means that you just allowed yourself to simply talk to yourself. Regain that relationship of what you have with you that gets lost. I've spoken about this so many times in other talks, and I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm going to say this. Society and how we operate today has become a very shallow, shallow place. And it's become a situation where everything is just racing, rushing, racing, rushing. We got to do this for all these different things, and it's just everybody's always on the go, 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 and we just don't stop for a second. This is what this time period is. And if you do follow astrology, you know what I'm talking about. This is that time right now. Mercury in retrograde. Well, it's Mercury telling you to slow down. That's what it is. And you will feel this time. I can't even tell you how many people have, like, I've heard so many stories even just over this weekend. Plans have gotten ruined. Uh, uh, Bad stuff going on with work projects for people. I've heard people complaining about oh my goodness, they can't get to where they're going because everybody's just traffic is crazy and everything's in mayhem. People trying to organize things in just their family household. It's just been chaos. This is what I've heard like all weekend. It's like, yep, pretty true to form. Well, what would help most of those situations? Pausing, slowing down, take a breath, step back for a second. It's okay. So, guys, I want you to treat this month. Let September be your month of finding your balance. Find your balance that makes you operate in the calmest, happiest, most tranquil position that you can. So that, for example, when retrograde presses, well, that's like that car speeding back up and kicking off down the runway and leaving dust behind it. Well, that's what's going to happen. And when that happens, I want that to be you, like that you're ready to go. We let this time period pass us, right? And now you use this to get fueled up, get ready, get yourself aligned, get your brain aligned, get your emotions aligned, get your life aligned of where you're going and what you want to do. Make sure it aligns with your goal and your vision. Make sure that your direction and your approach is where you need to go. Chris, you just said something similar to this in your show, and I couldn't stay for the whole thing. I apologize, but I was there for some of it, and Chris was just talking about this, about changing course. And sometimes that's what I'm saying. We have to alter our course sometimes, because other people, other things, other events, all these things can bump us. You might get bumped to this side and bumped to that side, and so all of these things, and so your direction gets shifted. And when your direction gets shifted, your destination changes. That's why it's important to realize the approach that you take in every single situation determines the outcome. It determines the destination. So sometimes we have to alter that course back to the right course. Too many people today listen to everybody else because it matters what everybody else is saying. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter at all what everybody else is saying. It matters what you are saying to yourself. It matters what you feel about yourself. It matters about your own self-awareness, self-love, self-care. That's what matters, because you matter. But you have to matter first and foremost to you. And this is that time period to stop, take a breath, and realize this is my time. And Mercury is reminding me, slow down. Find your balance. Find your grounding point. Because, guys, I tell you something. If you don't, I promise you, the rest of this year, this next 4 months, it's going to stay just as crazy as maybe whatever you're feeling right now is. And it probably will get a little bit worse. And that's just true. And this month will probably definitely, because everything gets haywired this month. And you know what? And I got to think about this too, because I fully believe in the energies and the universe and all this. But I got to think about, let me try to go back and put my brain on last year when this happened, and let me look at some of the years before. And do you know that every year that I can look back, my life was crazy mayhem during this time period. But you know what else I realized? I was not fully doing what I'm saying. I wasn't giving myself that time. I had to start making myself give that time to myself, to just stop for a minute, take pause for a second, breathe, meditate, do whatever you need to do to just quiet everything else, shut everything else out, and just listen to your heart. Redefine you. Redefine that relationship. Redefine your passion. Refine that love that you have for who you are. And if who you are has gotten changed because of other people or other events, well then deal with that. Resolve that and get you back. Get you back to where you need to be for you and to where you feel the best and happiest about yourself. That is balance. That's when you're going to feel some contentment. That's when you're going to feel some of that elevation and inspiration and liberation and all of those positives that we need as human beings. And let's face it, we live in a world that fucking sucks sometimes. Well, we have to take care of us. We have to take care of us. And you have to take care of you, right? So, guys, I encourage you, use this time. Find your balance. Find what settles right for you. And don't worry about everybody else. I'm sorry, I was just reading a back channel. Gracie Ellis was saying that she was enjoying this. She is about to start a show actually in just a few moments, and she's kind of going in a different spin. Well, in her own show, but she's gonna be talking about like the energy in life and moon and stuff like that. So I encourage you guys pop over there whenever we get out of here. But guys, I appreciate you coming in here, seeing some new faces too. But Elizabeth, always good to see you. Love, Chris. I'm so glad I've found your new time slot. So I was really happy I got to jump into your show tonight, my friend. And Annette, Calvary, Stacy, Woody, Deanna, everybody watching in YouTube. Guys, thank you so very much. And again, find you. Find your balance. Don't you let anybody take that away from you, because you are who you need right now. So let this time be for you. All right, guys. Till next time, I'll be back with you tomorrow at 11:30 right here for Sight Candy, and looking forward to it. Guys, have a very blessed rest of your night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Till then, be happy, be blessed, and most importantly, be you. Cheers.
It's no secret